Around 6 months ago, I made this video, titled, On My Way to Visit Your Mom. It was quite simple, a gif of a skeleton walking to the right with Hidden by Night from Shovel Knight, Spectre of Torment playing over it. I made it in only a few minutes in Windows Video Editor. Would occasionally use this meme in Discord conversations. Then, yesterday, I decided to make a sequel. It would be called On My Way to Visit Your Dad, and would feature Spectre Knight, also running to the right, this time with La Danse Macabre. I butchered that quite severely. That is a French phrase. Disgusting. Using the same process as before. Then, today, while I was in the car, I was struck by inspiration to make a new addition to the series. Initially, I planned to call it On My Way to Visit Your Ethereal Godmother, but while I was making it, I chose to rename it to On My Way to Visit Your Grandma for the sake of continuity, consistency. This one would be significantly more complex. I would use Blender, which would be much more difficult as it didn't support GIFs, but would also allow me a lot more freedom in terms of what I could do. I wanted it to feature Tails flying in front of a scrolling parallax background, this time with a cargo of fineries playing. And this is how I did it. The first thing I needed to do was grab some assets. So I hooked to the Spriters resource to get what I needed. 2 backgrounds from Super Mario World and a Tails sprite sheet from Sonic Mania. The background would be composed of 2 parts, the cliffs and the skyscape. Using 2 of these, I would make a parallax effect, where the foreground scrolls more quickly than the background. Starting with Tails, he has 4 frames of animation when flying. I saved each frame as a separate PNG and imported them into Blender. Tails was simple. I would have each frame of his animation last for 2 frames, then replace that frame with the next, repeating 4 times. He would be static, so it was quite straightforward. Next, the sky. It was quite a bit more complicated, as not only did it need to progress through its 4 frames, but also it had to move to the left, always looping. So what I did was I took the background from Super Mario World, modifying it slightly in Paint.net to change its color a little. I then duplicated the image and set it off to the side to make it continue seamlessly. Finally, I saved each frame as a separate PNG. Importing it into Blender, I decided to make each frame of the Starscape last 16 frames, or 4 cycles, of Tails animation, which I would use as a sort of measuring stick from then on. For each frame, I would make it scroll halfway through the whole PNG, then resume at that point with the next frame, resetting it after that, resulting in this. Finally, the cliffs. I simply made them scroll through the entire PNG over the course of 4 Tails cycles, or 1 frame of the skyscape's animation, making it move twice as quickly. Then I make it loop hundreds of times and play a cargo of fineries over it, and voila, the finished product. 128 frames per cycle. In theory, I could make it loop seamlessly, indefinitely. Truly a modern masterpiece. Why the hell am I making this? No one asked how I made that stupid meme.